News Talk 760 WJR. Online. The great voice of the Great Lakes when you want it. The Frank Beckmann Show.
Well, welcome back into the program. Man has been with us many times before. The sheriff out in Macomb County, Mark Hackel, has had to make some tough decisions on cutting staff and really shutting down part of the minimum security annex at the jail. Sheriff Mark Hackel on the other end of our line. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Frank. How are you today?
I'm okay. This is tough for you sheriffs. I know we've seen the same problems down here in Wayne County, out in Oakland County with Mike Bouchard, and you in Macomb County now. You've got to make adjustments with less money coming into county coffers. You've got to make cuts to balance your own budget.
Yeah, I agree, and it's definitely something we've been doing over the last 5 years, and our budget has steadily declined as far as the monies available to provide that service that we do, and that's public safety.
And so what exactly will you be doing? You're going to cut $4.5 million, I understand.
Yeah, we've already had impact as far as like road patrol services and some of our specialty units that we put out there. But you got to face it. I mean, when you start looking at budgets for sheriff's agencies, if we got to try to prioritize essential versus non-essential within a county sheriff or public safety budget, that's a very difficult thing to do. I mean, within a county budget, I think there's more we probably could do as far as looking at essential versus non-essential rather than going after public safety or public health. But that being said, the question is to what is that real number that we need to I guess take a cut at. And if it's somewhere in the neighborhood of $4 million, we thought, well, if we're going to start working at that, we definitely want to create a surplus, bring it into next year within our budget, so that the impact is going to be lessened. You know, we don't have to let out as many prisoners. We don't have to cut as many police officers actually out on the street. So we're hopeful, and we think the board and the finance department understand that, you know, there should be an incentive for, you know, department heads and elected officials, if they carry over a surplus from 1 year prior, they should get credit for that. And I think that's what's going to happen here. So we're making that move now by trying to make an adjustment within our budget. We think there's going to be a savings in the neighborhood of $2 million this year that will carry over into next year to kind of lessen the impact of public safety, and that's our immediate goal right now.
As I read the story about your plans, I saw that you want to reduce jail capacity by 200 beds. How do you do that?
It's very difficult. Again, I think some people just think of it as, okay, you just shut that facility down, and every one of these rooms are the same, and it's not like that. I mean, it's a very difficult task when you start looking within a sheriff's agency. You know how you, provide the room and the space for the prisoners that are in your facility. And again, it's a difficult task to try to prioritize. You know, where or what area do you make the cuts? And so we looked at an annex portion, which deals with work release, which are people that are out on the street. You know, probably 10, 12 hours out of the day, and then they come back and, you know, they spend their nights here. There's a cost to that, and it's a great alternative to incarceration for judges. Kind of gives them both. You know, they can still keep their jobs, still be productive members of society, yet they're very minimal impact and, pretty low, if any, risk to society. So we're going to work on something different here called day reporting, which they're not going to spend the night here, which is a tremendous cost to taxpayers, but yet there's going to be sanctions, whether it's tethering, making sure that they're doing, urine samples, breath tests, and all the other control mechanisms that we can put in place to offer to the judges, so that obviously there's less of an impact cost-wise to taxpayers.
I want to separate your role as a budgeter now from your role as a law enforcement officer. With all the cuts you've had to make and other police agencies have had to make around the state, with the early release of prisoners statewide to save money in the correction system, how much are you concerned as a law enforcement officer about the safety issue here in Michigan now?
Well, when you're talking about county jails, and whether it's Wayne County and or Oakland County, with their boot camp and everything, there's a very low impact. People sometimes don't understand the distinction between county jails and state prisons. When it talks about early release for state prisoners, that's much more of an impact, I think, on society than what you would see from the people that we're having in our work release programs, our boot camps. These really aren't people that are designed to be the type that are going to go out there and be physically assaulted. They do take advantage of people, no question about it, and they take advantage of the system. That's why they're in the system. But for the most part, the ones that we're dealing with at the state level are much of a concern to many of our specialty units, and that's why when somebody says prioritize essential versus non-essential within a county sheriff's budget, a state police budget, and or a local police budget, it's difficult to do because there's no question. There is more of a challenge for public safety today than there ever has been before. Because of the economic times, many people don't have jobs, and people that are coming out of prison or that are going to be put back out on the streets are going to have a harder time trying to compete for those jobs. So to say just get rid of your road patrol, get rid of your marine division, get rid of computer crimes, that's just somebody who is ignorant to the reality of the problems that we're facing in public safety. We are daily dealing with issues, and unfortunately, we're prioritizing the complaints that are coming in. There are many type of complaints that we're telling people we'll try to get to that, but because of the lack of resources and personnel to deal with these issues, some that are just oversight of a budget may think it's a simple solution for public safety to say, well, you're a larger part of our budget, just cut your people. They don't realize what we as the state police, as county sheriffs, and local police are faced with today to try to deal with the challenges. And when these people are begging for help, they're not turning to county, commissioners. They're not turning to other elected officials to say, hey, can you give us some money so the police can do their job? They turn to the police and say, we need your help, and can you respond? So we're still trying to do more with less, and we're going to continue to do that. And I think we've done a great job here in Macomb County of making that happen.
Yeah, well, good luck with that, and look forward to chatting again down the road. Do we have time for one more question here, Anna? Can I go 30 seconds long? I only have 30 seconds here, Sheriff. Give me an update on what the summer's been like out on Lake St. Clair.
It's been a rough summer, only because it hasn't been as, the weather hasn't cooperated as much. But I tell you what, that boating, that boating population out there really loves it. And when they get that nice day, they're out there, and it's been pretty pleasant. We've had a few mishaps, but for the most part, this is a great resource here, Lake St. Clair, not just to Macomb County, but to this region.
And that's despite the tough economy and all. It's great to hear and great to see. Thanks, Sheriff.
Thanks for having me.
Talk to you later.
Talking about what matters to you. Frank Beckmann Middays. Catch it live on News Talk 760 WJR AM. And stay up to date online at WJR.com.